All right, so this is gonna be a granny square tutorial. How I make these beautiful granny squares. If you're new to crochet, a granny square is a fantastic place to start. Really quite simple, and the possibilities for what you can do with them are endless. Blankets, coasters, pot holders. Here, you can't see much of it because of the close-up, is a sweater I made for my daughter featuring granny squares. Hers are smaller, just 3 round squares and then the border, whereas these samples that I've shown you here are 5 round squares, and I've got 5 colors here. Probably excessive, but we're gonna start with one. You only use one color at a time. You could do the whole thing in a single color as well. Really, endless possibilities. There are so many ways to make a granny square. There are probably thousands of tutorials online. I'm going to show you how I do them, and if you have a preferred method that's different from this, that's totally fine. So you start with your yarn, your crochet hook, you make a slip knot, get your crochet hook in there, I chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. From here, I pick up one of the lines of the V in the first chain, hook that in. That's called attaching with a slip knot. So I've just done a slip knot to hook my last chain to create a circle is what you've done. The circle can be kind of hard to see initially because it's so small, but there's your circle. Now everything is going to be worked into the center of that circle. Chain 3 for my first cluster. Actually, I'm just going to kind of leave that circle open. I'm going to do 2 double crochets into the center. I don't know if this is distracting. Let me move that. So there's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and there is my first little cluster. That's one of these. Cluster, chain 2, cluster, chain 2, cluster, chain 2, cluster, chain 2, you're finished. So that's my first cluster, chain 2, and then I'm going to go 3 double crochets to create my second. Now this isn't like a learn to crochet tutorial, this is just a this is how I make granny squares tutorial. So now I've got 2, I've just done my chain 2. Oh gosh, we have a helper. There's my cat. I'm going to do another 3 double crochets. And all the while, I have been sort of making sure that this little end is being caught up in the stitches so that it's being secured. That's the center. You can pull it and it'll tighten. And that just helps securing the end so you have less sewing in to do when you're finished. So I've done my 3 clusters here. Now I'm going to do another 2 chain stitches. My last grouping of 3 double crochets. My last chain 2, and then I will connect this to the top of my first chain 3. You know what? I'm just going to try and make this much clearer. To me, when you're looking at this, this is the one I go into. You've got 1, 2, 3 for your first chain, go up here into, I pick up the entire V on that stitch. Chain. So now you've connected it. And then to make a nice neat square, granny square, I will then chain into, using slip stitches, make my way to this gap, this corner. And now that is where I will pull the last thread through, cut it, get rid of this color, and that is, and see how it ends it in the corner? It makes it nice and square there. So that's my center done. When I pull this center tighter, the center all but disappears. It's just a cute little dot. It works well. Now I'm going to join my next color. So that center is like, for example, this bright pink there. See, I haven't trimmed these ends here, but you can see how each color is secured by the first round, the first sort of grouping that you do in the next color. And then in the end, when I will weave these in further by going back over in the other direction. And I've got a video on that already up. So I'm going to grab my next color and start in a very similar way. You do a slip knot. I put my needle through the corner that I finished. You don't have to start at the corner that you finished at, but I like to just to secure it. I find that it works very well for me. And then I secure both ends together. So I've put my needle through, I'm picking up my slip knot. I will take a moment, I'm sorry if I'm out of focus here. I will take a moment to take both ends, both the end that I just cut and the end that I'm starting with, hold them to the side, kind of out of the way to the left, just like this, pinch them, so that as I work my first corner, they will be secured. Okay, so I'm going to start the same way as the center with chain 3. Then I'm going to work 2 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets into the same corner. So there's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, chain 2. Now I will work 3 double crochets, into this corner. Now that's my first corner done. Now I will chain 1 before my next corner, and then I'm going to carry on and do the same 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet to complete this corner. So there's 3 double crochet. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry if I'm out of focus. I'm doing my absolute best, but I move a lot when I crochet. So 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, there's the second corner. Chain 1 to get to my next corner. I chain 1 between every cluster except for the corners where I chain 2. Some patterns will have you chain 3 in a corner. I've seen that. I've seen some where they do not have you chain 1 along the edges. It's completely up to you. This is how I've been doing them and I've been happy with it. And so this is how I will continue. But if you have another method that you prefer, that's totally fine. Or if you just want to experiment with other methods too, I highly recommend you do that. So now I've just finished my last, I did this corner, 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, chained 1, and then did the same thing again, 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. Now I just have my last chain 1, and then once again, I go up into this stitch, slip through, slip through, bring myself all the way to the corner. Now I'm going to cut it, and that's 2 rounds done. And see, it's nice and square, and the ends started here, and so they're already secured in that whole corner. But again, like I said, I go back in and we'll secure them even further than that. I'll do one more row just so that we really have, or one more round, I should say. So see, this is the first 2 rounds done. Now I'm going to add another color. This is such a fun way to use up all of your scraps. Once you start making granny squares like this, it's hard to stop. So I've got my slip knot. I've got my corner. I'm going to insert my needle into the corner, into the slip knot, pull it through. and then make sure that I take a sec to take my two ends, just kind of pinch them off to the side so that they're going to get anchored in the way I want them to. Chain 3 to serve as my first double crochet. Work 2 double crochet, chain 2, work 3 double crochet. Oh, and something is happening here that I'm happy to show you, and that is that one of my yarns here is like the end is sort of coming through the front. That is no problem. You just pull it to the back. Now it's fine, completely out of the way. And then my other, there, so that's one corner done. Now, this is the first round where I have a space that's not a corner. So I'm gonna chain 1, work 3 double crochet into this space, chain 1, and then work a corner as I have been doing all along. So chain 1, 3 double crochet into this space, chain 1. Now I'm back at a corner, so I do my usual 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. And now I'll just show you one more time on this side, and then, so I finished my corner, 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. I'm going to chain 1, work 3 double crochets into this space along the flat edge, chain 1, and then back to the regular corner routine, 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. And you just carry on doing that until you have as many rounds as your pattern tells you to do. And the round that I'm currently working on here is equivalent to this yellow round here. The following round will have 2 3 double crochet spots along the straight sides. The following round will have 3. If you did a 6th round, there would be 4 pockets where you did these double crochets here, 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 with 1 single chain stitch between each one, and then the regular corner at every corner. And you could just do this indefinitely to make yourself a giant blanket, or just make a whole bunch like this and sew them together and make yourself something fabulous. I hope this was helpful. Can't wait to see what you make.